All right, video number 3, we're on I, J, K, and L. So these are more challenging. All sorts of stuff is in there. Let's look at this first one. I see on the top. So as I look at the top, I've got an absolute value. So what do you know about, or that's not an absolute value, that is a square root. Hear what I mean now, what I say? What do I know about that? It can't be negative. Now, a couple of examples ago, I said it couldn't be 0. Is that true in this case? The answer is no, because in this case, it's on the top. So 0 is fine, but it can't be. So 5x minus 3 can't be negative, which means it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So let's just take care of the top first in green. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I have 5x minus 3 has to be greater than or equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides. Drop down my 5x greater than or equal to 0. Wait a second, that's not greater than or equal to 0. All right, it's 11/19. I'm starting to get tired. That is now 3. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So x has to be greater than or equal to 3/5. Okay, so if I just put this on a sweet little nice number line, just because I'm just thinking about it, just so I can get a visual, because sometimes that helps me. I know that x has to be greater than this, so I'm going to squiggle that way, right? Now I'm going to look at the bottom. So, okay, are there more domain restrictions from the bottom? And it's x squared plus 2x minus 3. I think, have we done one like this before, or is it just that I did it earlier? I can factor that. Most of these are factorable. So I've got an x and x. What multiplies to give me -3, but adds to give me 2? Ooh, 3 and 1 are that far away, and it's +2, so the 3 is positive, the 1 is negative. What I'm going to do is say that can't be equal to 0, so I've got to find the restrictions that make this 0. Well, that one would be -3, and this one would be 1. Okay, so here's the question. 1 lives right here, but -3 lives over here. So do I even care about that -3? I mean, I care about it because I don't want it to feel bad, but it's extraneous. It doesn't matter because we already know that 3/5 is the smallest it could be, or the top is going to blow up and not work. So that means I start at 3/5. It can include that. And I go until I hit 1. Then I close that off, union, and then I can go 1, and it goes on forever and ever. So my domain is, it starts at 3/5, it goes to 1, not including 1, and then a union of 1 to infinity. Let's look at J. All right, no fractions. Oh, I love it when there's, well, I mean, there's 2/3, but there's no x's in the bottom. And is there anything, any square roots? Yeah, there's a square root of 3, but is the x under the square root? The answer is no. So therefore, is there anything that's going to mess up our x's that x can't be? The answer is no x. X could be anything. So it's all real numbers, but the directions way back to video number 1 say put it in interval notation. And so if we're going to do that, we go -infinity to infinity. Mrs. Beaver, do I have to do that? Yes, because that's directions, and we are good direction followers. All right, 2 more. Let's see. I'm thinking I might end up needing more space, so I might have to move this little thing over. Okay, extend page. P of x equals 4 times the square root of x squared minus 4, all minus 4. There's no bottom of the fraction. Well, that's nice. So really all I have to worry about is this piece right under here, the x squared minus 4. So I'm going to think about that for a second. I know that that can't be negative. So I'm going to say x squared minus 4 has to be greater than or equal to 0. correct? Good. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. You might say, but couldn't I do plus 2 minus 2? Totally could. Or I could solve it as x squared is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. If that's the case, I now can do a square root, but there's a problem here because I get a plus or minus 4, so there's 2 answers. So then I think, oh no, whatever will I do? Well, I go back to, is this an and sandwich or an or out? And you're like, I don't remember. Well, right here, you look right here, and sandwich or out. That's an or out. Because of that, I already know that there's 2 answers at either plus or minus 2. So an or out, if I just had it on a number line, I'd put the -2 here, the 2 here. Can it include it or can it be those things? Yep. And then I go out. For this, I go out. Oh my gosh, that whole and sandwich or out thing is super, super helpful. So really what happens is it can't be anything inside of there. And then it says verify in your calculator. Oh gosh, I just happen to have already put this on Desmos. And look it doesn't go inside the -2 and +2. It doesn't go inside there. So it starts at -2, goes to -infinity, starts at +2, goes to +infinity. So how do I actually write that in interval notation? Well, it's going this way. So that means -infinity to -2, inclusive, union 2, inclusive to infinity, infinity and beyond. Awesome. All right, one more, and then I'm going to bed. Let's see, what is it? M of x equals 4 times the square root of 4 minus x squared minus 4. Oh my gosh, it looks almost exactly the same. Do you notice what changed? All that changed is this. Okay, so I can go back to what can that not be? Can't be negative. So let's see. I'm going to say 4 minus x squared has to be greater than or equal to, can be 0. So there we go. Now, a couple of different ways I could do this. If you were thinking to yourself, I'm just going to go 4 is greater than or equal to x squared. Are you okay with that? I just added x squared to both sides. So I'm going to square root, but I get plus or minus 2 again over here. But is this an and sandwich or out? To which I say to you, you can't tell yet. You would have to mirror image thing. Well, some of you are like, oh, the last one was an or out. This one's obviously an and sandwich because why would I ask it otherwise? But I'm just going to kind of mirror things around. So that means x is, see how the less than is pointing to the x? So x is less than or equal to positive or -2. And then I say, all right, and sandwich or out. And sandwich. I love and sandwiches. They're so much nicer. All right, so if it's an and sandwich, and then you can check it graphically, but it could be -2, +2. There it is. There's my domain right there. Now, if I want to go check graphically, I just hop back over to Desmos. Do you think I can edit in here? Oh, I can. Okay. So I just put that in. I pop up my little daily bar down here. And it is 4 minus x squared. Look, I was right. Awesome. Hopefully this was helpful. Good job. Keep up the good work. And I will see you in class.